In this session, let's look at the problem we were solving last week. I'll share my screen and show you what we encountered. So as you remember, last week marked the end of the challenge. And this is the map that we prepared. And these were the map feedbacks submitted by users around the world. And this looks pretty nice, right? This is just a map of points and showing the point density and displays the icons when hovered and which country the map feedback was sent in. Or it should have been Latvia as well. It submitted at least one. Anyways, so we received a file like this, which was supposed to go on the map initially. And when dropped on a map, it looked incorrect, as many points were located in the ocean. And as this is a common thing in GIS, that there is either incorrect coordinate system, either incorrect coordinates, something drops into zero almost some percentage of time, let's say 30. But when you receive a file like this, you already, like from the first glance, you notice that it's formatted interestingly. A column and a row empty, right? So remember when you do your FMEs and you do your ArcPros or other GIS stuff, delete these columns, empty columns and rows. Formatting is okay that you format coloring, but usually we want to have it just plain text so that the readers can read the first column. Some attribute values in our string from the Excel file. So in this case, open text editor, and we see that we need to have here, we would go with country name or city name. Actually, it doesn't matter for geocoding API. It doesn't matter whether it's first country, then city, or it's city and then country. So let's do country, and let's do here, which is actually also a good example. Like this is a representation of Hebrew, how the browser represents the Hebrew language. And we can populate and get the values from the API. So let's use the get method to get the values. It just sends the request and we will get the response. Value country name and value city name would come from the Excel table here. So every request would go, first request would go with India, Mumbai. Second request would go with India, Navi, Mumbai, and so on and so forth. So in this case, would go geocode, India, and here would be Mumbai. And then we would get a response like this. And let's see what the output holds for that HTTP call. So 7,630 HTTP calls will be sent now from my FME. Wow, it's rejected. And good thing that it did, because I remember that we were discussing when we're testing something, we should use a limit of the tests because it doesn't need to send out 7,000 requests. And also why it was rejected. We should set rejected feature handling. Let's do that. Workspace parameters, translation, rejected feature handling, not to terminate, but to continue. So there, some of the features will be rejected. We'll see why. And let's set a limit in the transformer itself. Yeah, in the transformer itself, or maximum rows, minimum features to read, max features to read. Okay, maximum features to read. Let's go with 50 for the test. So now we should rerun the thing. Let's disconnect this one. We don't want to reproduce. Let's do the HTTP caller. Let's go. Let's go. It should read 50 features. Hopefully some of them will be rejected as well. So we'll see why. Yeah, there are 50 rejected features as well. So in the output, what is happening? Where is the output actually? Okay, aha, here it is. And why this? Yeah, there was some other inspector that we saw previously. You have to be cautious because FME doesn't understand that in the response, we have coordinates that it wants to display. It still displays the incorrect longitude and latitude values on the map. So in this case, we will be reviewing the file that we got here. And as a response, in the response body, we have the JSON files that we just saw in the browser. And yes, latitude, longitude are there, right? So we can go on and extract it here in the browser. But I had an issue with the old FME version. It did not want to read the special characters. And actually, it does not want to read it here as well. Special characters of Thailand, Germany, Germany's Munich, Germany's Köln, and Düsseldorf not read, and Lyon is not read. Because response says illegal request target, invalid input, special character. And that's a bummer, actually, that you can't properly use FME for this. Probably there is a workaround to do it, but we saw with the special characters in the browser that it responded correctly, reading in this special character. Yeah, so that was interesting to me. And so the next chapter starts where I built the vibe coding example of using our geocoding API, a front-end application that reads in the Excel file and gives back the responses. That's where I stopped doing that with FME. And now I will show you the power of large language model, how it can build such a workflow and populate the Excel file with correct values. So I'm using, in this example, I'm using Mistral AI, like chat. You can use whichever AI you want, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Copilot or Mistral, in this case, Lechat. So what I wanted to do actually, and I saw some video of how people are populating Excel table with URLs and getting back the responses in the Excel itself. I was thinking, hey, maybe I can build these requests here and get the values from the JSON response. I actually didn't succeed with it. It asked me to log in. There is a thing called insert blah blah blah. There was in the data, insert from the web, something like this. And then it opens a screen where you can do basic and advanced, like the same scripting we did with FME, but it didn't work out. It wanted to something strange. So you can test that out yourselves. If you want this importing from the web in Excel, that's interesting. But yeah, my idea was that I will just get the URL, paste it here, and as I populate these fields, I'll get different responses in the cell, but it didn't work out. So that's why I prompt my first question to the chat. I have an API request. Can I return JSON values in Excel cell? And it told me use Excel Power Query. It did use Power Query. It didn't work out. So I went on to my friend JavaScript and I asked, write a simple console log function that reads in an Excel file and console logs within the browser. So here I got the response, and we can put on show. So you can open a notepad. It can be something as simple as a notepad, where you copy and paste in the code. So this is web coding that you're seeing on the screen. And you should save it as an HTML file. We can open it where we saved it. Here it is, FME Learning. And if we open it, yay, let's browse something. I'll find the FME Training Week 18. So let's open it and let's select Inspector and see what the console log has. We have an array of 7,631 features. So cool. We have the Excel file in our console just by web coding. But what I want to do next, I want to pump these features into my fetch request. So that's why I say, okay, thank you very much. And I tell the large language model, now as the input is this, which I copied from one of the responses, like this, I copied, as the input is this. I want you to fetch the data from geocode search API, city name, country name, and the API key is, I don't have it here listed, but I will provide, I don't want to give large language model my API key. So that's why I just dropped it out. And then it gave me something to work with. So it's okay, do this, do that. Let's see what it gives us now. Okay. What's happening? I moved it to a new folder. So let's open edit in Notepad. Let's do it the old-fashioned way. Oh, here it is. So let's Control A, Control V. We're pasting in the new file. So this is the new file. And what is this? So we were here, right? And we are pasting this one in. So let's see what it has. You have to reload the browser so the new app appears. So there is, okay, API key not found. We already have some fetches. So what I asked. Okay, let's see. I will provide an API key now where I have it in my FME here. Let's open up the example in the notepad. And your API key, it asks API key here. Let's save it. And let's rerun this one. And it has some objects. And I thought, like, why? Why it has only 2 objects, right? We had 7,000 objects. But as an object, you already see we have some Berlin, Deutschland. We have latitude, longitude in the map view and position. So we have this information. So I thought, okay, something's off. And I discovered that it basically didn't understand that I want to use my Excel table as the sample data. So it just gave me sample data here out of itself. So I said, okay, I want you to first read the Excel file and then perform this action. Okay, this action maybe is not clarified, but anyways. So let's see what it gave me as a new input. And we will have to use the API key again. Look, paste the API key there again. And where's my API key now? Save this thing. And let's rerun. So now it's already read the file. See, Excel file. Let's open it. And let's wait. Was that my last prompt? And it's actually now it's a bit stuck, the browser itself, just because it's loading in those fetch requests, 7,000 fetch requests. And yeah, I think it did correctly. But let's see. Yes, you see? The browsers, how cool is vibe coding, okay? You don't need FME anymore. Just need an API key. Why did I submit that much? So what I can do, I will open the Excel file and just have first 50 or something like, no, I create a duplicate file. I'll show you what I am doing. So in the downloads, I created the new file folder. And what I'll be doing, I will delete some, okay, so that we just send only, let's say, 108 fetch requests, right? So I'm trimming down and I wanted to rename. And let's rename to 100 values, right? Let's browse in the new folder, 100 values, open. And refresh. Let's try again. And we see the 108 values populated in the browser now, right? Where we have items, where we have position, latitude, longitude. It's all done just by having an API key, and you have access to that. So what I wanted to have as an output, so I have a customer who needs those 2 columns, right? With correct latitudes and longitudes. So we need the positions populated in an Excel field. And guess what? We can do that with a large language model. So I said that this is one example of a response for Netherlands, Hersensdam. And can you append position, latitude, longitude to input Excel file and export as a CSV? And he said, sure, no problem. Let's do it. And let's see what it did. So let's see now how our application looks. Refresh. Wow, export as a CSV. So browse. We would have a console log, would we? No, we don't have a console log. We can have a console log if you want to. So let's write the console log. Save, refresh, load, open. And now we have a console log of what we'll be returning, which would be an object. Yeah, that's the fetch response. And if we click on export CSV, let's see what we have in the output. Latitude and longitude. I actually didn't test out the quality of the data. I just quickly ran through the coordinates, pasted them on the map, and saw if
the first one is for sure true. I checked it.
Yeah, first one was true, and I quickly ran through and checked coordinates. That is it located in Germany and is it Bremen? So that's a cookie for our geocoding and search API. And this is how easy it was switching from FME to large language model and to actually get the job done. And it took me 20 minutes to show you this example, and it works. This is what is on the map. Be cautious with LLMs. Don't share the API keys. Don't share the secrets and stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Have
all.
a nice day ahead.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.